All right. Well, welcome, Rob, to episode 6, man. It's a great honor. Anthony, don't yell at me. We tried the two cameras. It did not work. My phone, my iPad, my ghetto
Yeah, he
camera.
tried. He
Yeah.
tried.
So
He gave it the good college effort.
going a little old school with this, just two people in one frame. I'll make it work. We're kind of nice, and
Yeah.
tight, pause,
Yeah, yeah.
just because the clips will work out fine. So everything should be good and rolling for this one.
Mm.
But Rob, I do want to say I thank you for coming. I know you don't live around the area, but you were visiting mom, so
Mhm.
this kind of benefited me to get you on the podcast, and I appreciate you. This is one of the people that have been giving me a lot of feedback, a lot of compliments, a lot of Puga, like where it's going. Let me be part of this. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's make it work. So if you're interested, all you have to do is what Rob did. Just ask me, man. I will fucking have you on the pod. Like this is very easy.
Mhm.
Um, all right. So just to give a little introduction, because a lot of people don't know Rob from my side, unless you were at the Kevin House parties all the time. But Rob is someone I met at the Catering Hall,
Mhm.
and he became brothers with Johan, and that's how our relationship was able to form as friends. So we have a lot of crazy stories
Yep.
to definitely share.
Mhm.
A lot of fucking people that just like the nostalgic of it. Because I completely forgot, man. When did you leave? And why did you leave? Tell the people. Yeah, a little bit background.
Yeah. So 2017 is when I signed up for the Air Force. And it was November 2017 actually. But I left because I wanted just a new change of pace. I wanted an actual career out of what I was doing. I mean, I had a job, I was making money, but it wasn't something that I had left like fulfillment in my life. I wanted something that made me feel like at the end of the day, say I was proud to do,
I
And
agree.
I was thinking about doing a cop at one point in my life, but then I was like, nah, because it's rough out there for these cops, man. It really
It's rough
is.
for the badge right now,
It
man.
really is.
Yeah, it's not an
So,
easy world.
yeah, I wanted something that I could do that had some purpose, and that's what I thought. Military might have it.
Air Force, right? You said?
Air Force, right?
Wow, man, that sounds fucking intense. Is it true you need the 2020 vision?
Um, I think it just depends on what you do specifically, because they actually went for the eye test,
Yeah.
and I passed it, but I didn't pass the depth perception, and that enables you to like do certain air crew positions, like being a pilot or load master, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't specifically be able to work in that because of the depth perception was off.
Well, how crazy was it? Like, give us an example
I
what the
think it
test
was
was.
so like they have this little machine you're supposed to look into, like just about this width. You put your eye in, and it shows different pictures, and it has things in the foreground and then the background, and then the slides will just keep on changing in different paces, and there'll be different images, and you're supposed to say, okay,
This is
now
that.
yeah, slide 2 has this image, slide 3 has whatever, and after a certain point, if you can't see it anymore, obviously they're like, okay,
That's crazy. So
yeah,
it's looking like a sniper scope kind of in a weird way.
something like that, yeah,
Something like
something
that.
like that.
No surprise air that comes into your eye like
No,
Iraq.
no, no. That'd be kind of crazy.
Yo, yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I had no honestly. I for some reason I thought you were in the army. So thank you for clearing that up. So Air
Everybody
Force.
thinks, regardless, anyway. If I
Yeah,
say like
yeah.
military, they're like army.
Okay. So some words of encouragement because I know you did that later in your life, right?
Sure.
Like you
Yeah.
like talk to me. Was it hard? Was it a hard transition to go in
Mhm.
at that age? Like tell what if you don't mind explaining it to us. What age did you decide to go?
Yeah. I joined at 25, so I was definitely older. One of the older guys coming in. A lot of these guys come in, straight out of high school,
Yeah.
or not too far off, maybe 20s, 21, whatever. So being 25, I kind of was like the big brother to these guys, kind of telling them that this is a big choice, a big opportunity for you, but just know that this isn't the end all be all. At the end of the day, if you want to leave, leave. If it's the best decision for yourself, do it, because life, it goes by fast, and you need to be able to handle it. So
Damn, bro. You were definitely a good plus to have there then. Like I could see me as an 18-year-old hearing that from you, I'd be like, yo,
yeah,
this
yeah,
guy is some wise dude right here. So I'm gonna stick with him. I'm gonna make sure to
yeah.
have this guy by my side. Um, before we continue, my bad, I forgot to dive into a small things. If you want to check out the podcast, it's very easy. Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube is a platform I put it on later on. And just please make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram, TikTok. That's where the reels go out. That's where the memos, what I like to do on TikTok, comes out. And like we said, the topics of the day is going to be converts. It's a place where me and Rob met. It's our job that we used to have back in the day. We're going to be talking about living in New York as opposed to other places. We're going to be talking about some cultural differences and goals that you have in mind before and after marriage. So might bring up some music conversations. We got to thank ChatGPT for giving us a lot of these questions. Anthony's been recommending it like crazy, and honestly, I finally decided to download the app, and it's fucking creepy. It has some great questions for us.
It's cool.
So I'm very excited. And before we go into the major topics, like I just discussed, there's always, I don't know if you know the format, there's always 2 intro questions I give every guest. Right. So the 2 intro questions for you, the first one will be, tell us something you have recently learned that has changed your outlook on life.
Something recently that I learned to change my outlook.
It doesn't have to be too recent, but, something that, impacted.
Yeah. So what I noticed, what I did a lot was I overextended myself in like helping people and just whatever it was. If I consider you a friend, I'll go out of my way to do whatever it is. And sometimes that leaves me with no elasticity. Like I kind of stretch myself way too thin. And, obviously if you stretch something way too thin, it's going to snap. It's going to break. So I had my own breaking point at one point. I had like my cousin passing away was very central focus to my family, and not being able to communicate with my family during COVID times too often, not being there. And then at the same time having to do work because military doesn't stop, and being pushed into a certain position at that point in my life where I had to, I was going up in rank, and I had more responsibility, had more things to take care of. And all the while not thinking about my mental fortitude. I would just keep the work going. Whatever I needed to do, tell me what I need to do, I'll do it. No questions asked.
Well, definitely, first of all, RIP to your cousin. Definitely. So sorry for your loss on that one. Yeah, during COVID time, man, I don't have the same I can't say that I had that I didn't have it that hard over here. Like I still had to work and stuff because the bank's not considered to be closed, but I mean, bank work compared to army work, I can't even imagine doing that and also having to worry about your family. Luckily we were all in the same house, but it was so weird. Even the people in the same house, I didn't realize this until COVID hit, but my brother's very germophobic. Yeah. And some people have it really bad where they'll lock themselves in a room, and that's what happened, man. A lot of my family just my brother lived upstairs. I lived in the bottom side of the house, and we didn't see each other for maybe 30 days. Wow. We saw each other through the windows. I had to go outside to get some fresh air, and he'd be through the window, talking to my mom. Wow. He was very concerned for his kids. Yeah. Because when that germophobia, I didn't know how bad he had it. Mm-hmm. I know there are people out there that have germophobia that's very they're like, hey, get away from me. Yeah. And you can make light of it, you laugh, but there are people that take it to the next level, and he was someone that took it to the next level. So, yeah, my mom not being able to see her grandchildren was, and it's ironic because we were in the same house. He just didn't want, because we didn't know what it was, man. Yeah. We had no idea what the fuck it was.
Just want to be safe.
I wish I could ask you, maybe towards the end, I'll ask you season 2 intro questions, because I feel like they're pretty funny, and season 1 intro questions, because they also make me laugh. So I'd like to get a point of view on that. So maybe we have some time, I'll ask you that. Okay. But I like what you said, man. I like that Rubber Man thing. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, you can't be. That's also what I'm learning too. I can't be too nice to everybody. Yeah. You got to be nice to yourself first, and then if you have time, right, and if it's not a serious, but if it's a situation that you know that you can handle without stretching yourself out too much, then you can do that. But if you start doing that little things for everybody. You're eventually gonna fucking snap.
Yeah, they say that your first friend, obviously, you're your parents or whatever. But after that the next step is yourself. You need to be best friends with yourself. You need to know who you are at your core, what you need, when you need it, and not to compromise for anybody else. Not to be a dick, really. Not to be a dick, but just if you don't have that covered and you're spreading yourself thin like that, you lose what the amount that you can give.
Facts. That's very true.
The quality, I guess.
Yeah, the quality of assistance. And then, what's funny? I don't know. I can't give an example, but I'm sure we all can think of one, as we're hearing this. But, when you said that, there's always been a moment when you do stretch yourself even to the thinnest, and then you do it for that person. They're like, oh, I can't believe, you didn't do, this up and above, what I expected you from. Right.
Right.
and you're just like, what the fuck? Like the fact that I'm even doing, like, you don't even know what the fuck I'm going through right now, motherfucker.
Exactly.
So yeah, but I don't know what example, like, but we all can think of one. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's so many that we've done. Like the nice people know. Nice people know. Don't fucking treat your nice friend. Don't abuse them of niceness because eventually, like Rob said, they will snap. And sometimes the snap is ugly, man. Sometimes it's very ugly.
Yeah, it could look like somebody being angry and angry outburst, or somebody just completely like implode. Like they just don't want to speak to anybody, don't even want to hear from anybody.
Facts.
Close themselves off.
Facts. So, question number 2 now, Rob. What moment in your life did you realize you became an adult?
I guess 2 parts. When I thought that I became an adult,
and
then when I actually became an adult. So when I thought I became an adult was graduating high school. You know, you think, okay, I'm out now. This is the real world. I can attack everything. I'm good. I'm ready. Nah, not even close. Not even close. So going through the different jobs and you know, different life goals and seeing that, you know, the way that life is progressing. I think when I actually think that I became an adult is, I think when I joined the military, honestly, just because it took me away from friends, took me away from family, and positioned me in a place where I was solely relied on my own idea of what I can do. You know, there was no like people to hold my hand through anything. You know, I had to. I don't know. Like everything was done by myself: cooking, cleaning.
It was a puzzle.
All of that. So
you had to find the pieces to make sure that you knew what to do. You had to hold yourself accountable for the first time. There was no more
like friends would, you know, be like a good kind of like a distraction, and you didn't have that anymore over there. And obviously, like eventually through time, you know, you make friends, but initially, you know, you have to have that first basis to establish yourself.
Yeah.
And doing that is difficult. Yeah. And so getting my own place over when I was in Germany, I had to like think about the rent and all this other stuff that comes with that, but also in a different country.
Correct. So, different language, different culture.
Yeah, you got the language barriers, different laws, honestly.
Yeah, true.
Different laws. The way that they even hold their garbage is different. You know, they have like brown bags for a certain type of material, white bags for a certain material, yellow bags for another material, and it has to all be separate, and they all are done on certain days. And you know, that's just a small facet of it, but there's so many other things.
Getting acquainted, learning all these differences definitely is probably it was probably very, very hard for you the first month.
Oh yeah, it was difficult, difficult for sure. And then and then it just slowly starts rolling along. You get used to it, you get comfortable. Deployments, like they kind of open even more so like into how you can handle things, because it's like, all right, you had your home base family, now you're taken away from that and you're put into a whole different area, a whole nother different culture too. And then you know, different rules, different things that you're not allowed to do or you are allowed to do, whatever, and you have to deal with that. So
damn, definitely a culture shock, man. Definitely I never had to realize that, only because, like I said, I've lived in New York my whole life. I've never really experienced anything other than going maybe to like Peru, and we were talking about that. Yo, shout out to the llamas, bro.
Yeah.
But we were talking about that a little bit before the podcast started, and when you go over there, it's a completely different culture shock too. Like, have you been to Chile?
No, I've never been. I always want to go, but
you should, man. You should definitely visit Peru too on the way, because bro, when I went to Machu Picchu in 2019, man, it was so surreal seeing what these fucking, you know, like what my history created. You know what I mean? It's just like looking, like, you know, you see it in movies and shit, but when seeing it in real life and in person, it's just crazy. There's like a weird like energy there, like it's unexplainable. It's something that I recommend everyone do. Like, if you can look at the seven wonders of the world, I think Machu Picchu is one of them, if I'm not mistaken, and it's insane, man.
They have those steps. What are those steps called? The steps where they believe that it was giants, but it's actually where they grew like certain like agriculture. I forget what the name of it was.
I wish I could tell you, man. All I know what you're talking about though, because they showed us that.
Yeah.
And those steps are fucking huge, man.
Yeah,
those steps are fucking huge. So I can see the conspiracy theories of why they thought giants lived there, because there's no reason. And I also saw the place where they sacrificed, like when they had to kill people, or they had to kill their own for like breaking their laws and shit.
For
Like I
real.
saw the area where they would kill them.
Damn.
It was, yo, you could just like I don't know, man. Energy vibe people, the people that can feel like it's a weird thing, but you could just feel a lot of darkness in that fucking area, man. It was insane, but it was beautiful. It was something that I definitely needed to experience. I mean, I used to go to Peru every year when I was a kid, and you know, you get accustomed to it after a while, but the poverty, the way of living, the speed isn't like unless you're in the city, the speed doesn't really match New York.
Yeah.
A lot of people more calm to themselves. For the most part, I can say I definitely enjoy Peru, but it's just like it's not New York, it's not America. Like I was born here, so like a lot of people say like, oh, you should always like respect your traditions and stuff like that, which I do. But I just don't feel the vibe of living over there. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
so accustomed to this place.
Yeah, it's a different pace, like you were saying. New York in general, but America also. It's just different pace than all other countries. And I think we were speaking on this before the pod as well. Like growing up and you're having your own kids, you know, how are you going to translate that past culture, what your parents brought to you, onto
Facts.
them? And it's difficult because we're so detached. You know, we don't have the same environment that they grew up in. They don't have, you know, we don't have those experiences and all that other stuff to bring to them.
It's so true, man. You're like I was saying to you, it's just like it sucks. And you know, some people are gonna say, oh, but you can drag that through. I could, man, but I'll never do it like my parents, man.
Yeah.
Like even with me, I'm losing. Like, no offense to my sister, no offense to my nieces and stuff like that. But I don't think there's gonna be another chef like Flor Puga, you know. Like there's not gonna be another lady, 4'11" lady that knows how to fucking work it down in the kitchen. And then, you know, there's who in this new generation really like our big thing in Peru is for the older cultural people, they like listening to Wino. After my mom passes away, maybe it'll be brought up a couple of times just out of respect to them. But like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's not something that's really listened to.
Yeah,
like
man. Like it's hard to keep a culture going, and you'd be ignorant to say that you don't invent your own culture in America. It's a melting pot. Like, you don't know who your next girlfriend could be. She could be Indian. She could be from Arab descent. She could be from China. She can be from the Asian countries. Those Asian cultures that you bring in, and each, you know, you'd be ignorant to say that China, Vietnam, and the Philippines all do the same thing. They don't. Within their own Asian like vicinity, they all have their different cultures and customs. So you don't know. You just don't know how you're going to integrate that with your future couple, your future family.
Exactly.
So it's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's very difficult. It's nice to have friends that are from these different cultures, but actually having a family of your own for your own culture, and then bestowing what you had onto them is a very tough thing. If you aren't, because there are some people that are really well versed in their culture, but being American, especially from New York, like you said, there's that melting pot. So you have touches of everything here, and it kind of gets washed.
Exactly. It's just it's very hard to keep that tradition going, and you know, maybe I can incorporate my family. I'm not one to incorporate my family. Other than my close family, I really don't show face to parties anymore, and it should be something that I should work on, just because I know family is very important. But like, there's a lot of stuff that goes within my family that I just don't. I don't like the same family politics, you know, like. Bro, if we had to show up for every little cousin's birthday, you know how many cousins I have? Like, money.
So like traditions, then you're saying traditions you'd want to. I mean, if you have your own family, you make your own traditions. But there's some core traditions that your family were brought with that you can, you know, you could probably still bring along.
Yeah, and that's also a good question. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna jump because I like where we're at with this conversation. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
So within the cultures, right? What are some things that you were brought up with that you consider of high value today that you're definitely going to translate to your kids and your family?
Okay.
It doesn't even have to be customs, maybe just values, customs, whatever you know that comes up to mind.
Yeah, food focused is basically what my family was revolved around. So when we had big family dinners, everybody was there. There was like no excuse; you had to be there.
Okay.
So no matter what your schedule is, I would expect my family at one point, you know. If we're going to have a family dinner scheduled, you're going to be there.
I like that.
No matter what. Like, you have no excuse. Like, this has to happen. This is going to happen. So that everybody comes and sits down, converses, tells them about the day, whatever week. You just have that time to really bond and grow together.
That's good. I like that.
I
We
mean,
we used to have that. We used to have that. It's just it's weird, man. As the I don't know if you guys have all experienced this, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my family has expanded very fast. As in, like, my cousins have, come to this country, and it's just year after year. There's a new puka here or a new side of my family that's coming in, and like you said, it's hard to get that huge dinner table because no one has that big dinner table. Like, there's like for me, my family, like, we're talking about, like, easily, like, if we wanted, you need, like, an event hall. Like, you need, like, just thinking about my close relatives, like my brothers. Like, my brother alone has 9 kids.
damn,
My sister has
they be
1,
getting
2,
busy.
3 kids.
God damn.
My other brother, my oldest brother, has 2 kids, and within that, his kid, my niece, has 2 kids.
Wow.
So just immediate family, you're talking about maybe like 15 to 20 people, which is not bad. You can make it work.
Yeah.
But then those people also have their families, their husbands, their
Right.
boyfriends.
Right.
So you may be looking at another maybe now 30 to 40.
Right.
And it's just been harder to get everyone to come because of work. They're all in different ages and transitions of their life. Like, a lot of them right now, my nieces are in their early 20s, so they're partying. They're, they want to see their friends a lot. And I get it. I've been there. I've been doing that. So it's just it's hard to get everyone synchronized in the same table. And when it comes to creating a bigger family, you're creating new circles. You know what I mean? Within those circles, like, who you bond with in the family. So I've just seen my family expand so much that everyone has their own little subsidized circle, and it's very hard to get everyone in one place unless it's for, like, a big event, like you said, like a quinceañera. If it's like the male turning 18, like, I know recently we celebrate. I had to invite all my family. I had to organize it. I did it for my mom's 70th birthday. I rented out an event hall, and a lot of them showed up. So shout out to them.
Dope.
Yeah, so it's just hard, man. It's just hard. But
Yeah.
my question, I guess, my answer to the question I asked you about the values that I'm looking to pass through, I think that trying to show to my kids that, and this is gonna go back to converts. There's something I learned through converts, learned through my dad, learned through my brother.
Yeah.
Is working hard.
Yeah. Oh, so you're speaking on an intangible. Like, I was just talking about, like, an intangible.
tangible,
Yeah. So you're speaking intangible. We're talking about, like, an actual, like, set of a way of living type of deal.
Correct.
Okay.
So, like I said, I'm throwing in, an untangible thing, and it'd be trying to make sure that every kid of mine understands working hard. I like it.
Yeah.
When I get rich, I want to fucking manifest. And when I get rich, I don't want that to sacrifice. And I don't want my kids to grow up being entitled.
Yeah.
Like, I hate when I see entitled people.
Yeah. Work ethic is everything.
Yeah.
Work ethic is everything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that I think that has been instilled in me. I'm going to instill that into my kids because I want them, even if life is great, I want them to understand that nothing comes without hard work and goal orientation. Like, hard work with hard work only does nothing for you. It gets you a paycheck. It gets you maybe certain things that, you have in plain sight. But if you don't have any goals attached to that hard work, you're just going to work. You're going to work hard for the rest of your life, not doing much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think coming with what I was saying about, like, having the family there for events, I guess behind that the idea is not being so focused on just the job, not being so focused on the busy work, the day to day. Sometimes take a step back and appreciate the people you have around you because, friends, they come and go. Sometimes you meet some really good friends that for a long ass time. Me, you, but that is not always the case. But who will always be there? Your mom, your dad.
Facts.
Those people, the blood, because those are the people that have nurtured you, that brought you up, and you got to appreciate them for who they are. Exactly, they sacrificed for you, so you got to appreciate them for what they've done for you, and yeah.
I agree with you 100%. That's why, like I was telling you before this, man, I was actually supposed to move out by myself, solo dolo, and I'm the baby. I'm the baby of the family, so my parents, when I was gonna move out solo dolo, they kind of like begged me, like saying like, hey, like if you're gonna move, please take us with you. And most people would be like, oh no, like you really shouldn't think of it like that. You shouldn't feel bad. You know, your parents are an age where they should be able to handle themselves. And I agree that could have been the case for me. But just like Rob said, my my closest, the two people that I value the most is my mom and my dad. And I'm not just saying that because they're my mom and my dad. A lot of people don't have good relationships with their parents, and my relationship has done nothing but grow with them, and I love and appreciate them so much. Like, I know that a couple of years shredding it with them is not gonna hurt me, man. Like, I'm not at a stage that I'm getting married yet.
Yeah, right.
And if I were to get into that stage, I would have that conversation with them, which my parents, like you said, they're my best friends. They would absolutely 100% understand. Like, you know what, David, I'm happy for you. We know what we got to do because we already discussed this situation. If it arises, we're going to let you have your peace in your life. We're just going to take one ticket out to Peru and let us know when your engagement party is. Let me know when your wedding is. And then we'll just fly out.
Yeah.
So we've talked about that situation, which I always appreciate from my parents. So I don't mind having them with me because they're like, I owe them everything, like they've given me life. They've given me a great life in moments where I thought that, I was going to be a fuck up. The people that believed in me most, that knew that I didn't have to go that route, were my parents, man. Like, they were someone that always believed in me, always had faith in me. And, a lot of everyone's going to say, oh, it's just because you're their son, which, yeah, I mean, that has to play a factor, right?
Yeah.
But they've always had reasons why I was different. They always believed in me, saying like, they always, my dad, that's why I think I appreciate my dad a little bit more in like the honesty. My mom is, moms will nurture and not want to harm their kid.
Yep.
The opposite of what my dad did. He tried to hide things, but then he would be like, you know what, let me just talk to this kid like a man. Like, this is what's going on, and this is what I need to do. I need you to help in whatever minimal way you can help.
Yeah.
If it was money, it was basically being told like, hey, we have money issues. I'm still going to give you lunch money, but make it work. Like, make it last.
Right.
And I always felt like I always had to play a factor, and I appreciated that from my dad because he was like, without telling me, he was telling me life is hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was always prepping me little by little, like, hey, like when you're 15, I want you to start driving your mom to work because I want you to realize, like, maybe it wasn't his intention, but when I started waking up early to take my mom to work, it would be like my mom used to go in at like 5:30, so I'd have to wake up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And little by little, I started seeing like, oh shit, this is what the real world is. This is what I have to do. Like, this is what real people do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, my mom was waking up that early just to go to work, and then I'd realize small things, like she'd come back home, and I'd have to go pick her up. And like, you want a car? Okay, here's your car. We'll make it work, but you got to go pick up your mom.
Yeah.
So small responsibilities. I always like appreciated that from my parents. I don't know if my dad did it on purpose or he just did it because he needed my mom to be picked up. But these are the life lessons and how I interpreted them.
That's what they'll say at the end of the day. No, initially it's probably because no, this shit just needs to get done. Fucking do it. But then they're like, yeah, you know what? Actually, yeah, that's why I did that. So you can learn this lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
Get the fuck out of here. You didn't know that.
He's trying to make himself look wise and stuff, right? Yeah. Another question for you. How do cultural differences impact our perceptions of everyday life, such as communication, food, and social interaction? So I guess you have a good understanding of this because you lived in Germany.
Yeah. So yeah, Americans are definitely different than most other parts of the world, but especially in Europe, a lot of our customs are different than Europeans and Germans specifically because I was in Germany.
I'm sorry to interrupt you because I know we had Travis on this. He lived in Germany, by the way.
Yeah.
Too. Do
you remember what area he was in?
I could be fucking this up. I think he was close to Frankfurt.
He was close to Frankfurt?
Okay. I could be fucking this all up.
Well, I guess I have to
He was 3 hours away from train from Bayern.
From Bayern. Okay. I was about 2 hours by car from Frankfurt. Bayern, I was maybe, I want to say like 4 hours. I was south, I think it was southwest. Area
I think he was north.
Oh, okay. He was north?
I think so. I gotta be fucking this up.
Okay.
Travis, if you ever watch this, bro, you can let us know.
Exactly,
I'm gonna listen to the previous podcast just to make sure that I'll put the wording in there where he was. But my question to you, because I remember I asked him this question. Do the stigma, do the Europeans hate Americans?
Some of them do. Some of them don't. It depends. So the area that I was in specifically was called Ramstein. and then the air base there is called Ramstein Air Base. So the immediate area, they're okay with Americans because we've been there so long. We've been there since the 60s.
Okay.
So they're used to Americans in that area. But the farther out you get from military bases, the more so you kind of feel the actual culture of how Germans are. And they just don't like conflict. They don't like knowing that there's people in their country that, you know, are occupying it for business that is not for, I guess,
For them.
for
Any
them.
benefit
Yeah,
to them.
exactly. It kind of does and it kind of doesn't. It's kind of parasitic in a way because you have people in your backyard basically getting shit ready for war, and you're like, okay, well, how does this help us? You know, it kind of gets you scared a little bit.
Yeah,
So people
because the U.S. have no fucking like hand in hand with Germany. Like if Germany gets into shit, like the U.S. Right? Like I'm not mistaken. Like maybe the politics, I don't know, but like if let's say someone attacks Germany, does
Yeah.
the U.S.
Well,
enter right away? To
part of NATO. So NATO as a like a to like kind of respond to that. Yeah, we'll be probably dragged into it eventually, but
but it wouldn't be the first. Like you wouldn't be running out there to go.
yeah, I don't think we sort of like help them how we're doing now in Israel in a way, kind of like providing them with weaponry and shit
Which
like
is
that.
so crazy, man. Like, don't you think? Like, I don't know, man. Like this is why I don't know too much about, and I should get more into politics. It's just
Yeah.
like, and I hear so much bad stuff about NATO. People hate NATO. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what I hear on the news. Like it's NATO's like bullshit. Like it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I look at it like this. There's these big clubs and they have these big players and they benefit certain people. They don't benefit everybody.
oh, I
And they
like
make
that.
the rules. They make sure that, you know, they get the biggest slice of the pie. And there's that kind of facade that has like a the shows you like, okay, maybe we're doing this for good, but behind closed doors, it's not beneficial for everybody, especially the little guys. So, I think there's give and take with all that. You know, like they bring good, but at the same time, it's not good for everybody.
I like that. That was a good one. Like, you see, there's certain things you have to say it to me to make it make sense. And I like what you said. Like, it's a
Yeah.
big club. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like
That's what it
only
is.
certain players, you know, reap the benefits. Not everyone. does.
exactly.
I like that.
And that's why, you know, Russia and China, Brazil, they want to make their own because they don't want to listen to what we're doing with NATO anymore. They want to make their own rules because they want their own country to prosper. Rightfully so. If you have your own country, you want to take care of your own country. But I think they're also going about it the wrong way. You know, the way
Facts.
but that's personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that aspect. All right, so what are some common stereotypes or misconceptions about different cultures, and how can we break them down? How can we break down these barriers? Did you have a
Stereotypes?
stereotype
Yeah.
over there?
As an American, yeah.
Do they
actually-
shout when they talk? Does it sound like they're shouting? Because I
Oh,
know
you
there's a
talk about
stereotype with German. Yeah, a lot
They
of,
all sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something in your mind?
yeah. That's what I picture. I picture a lot of them sounding like Arnold.
Nah. I mean, like they have the accents. Sometimes it's hard to understand, but no, they're really nice people. Very very. They're direct with rules. They're very like rule book driven.
Okay.
You need to follow the rules no matter what type of deal. A lot of other Europeans very lax about that. Italian, French, Spanish, a lot of that is like very relaxed. But Germans, nah. If it's on the rules, it's in the rules. Like you have to follow it. Like I was telling you about
The garbage.
the
and
garbage.
everything,
That's
yeah.
such a small thing, but it's a big deal to them. You know?
You'll get fined and shit, right?
Yeah.
Wow. You ever been fined?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Really? How much is the fine?
It wasn't much. It was probably like €50 or something like that at the time. It was,
Damn, that's like $80.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Holy
nowadays it's
fuck.
closer actually. Back then, when I was there, when I first got to there, I think it was $1.75 or so from dollar to euro.
Oh shit. Okay.
Leaving, it was getting closer. I think it was almost like 115 or something.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, it fluctuates. It fluctuates a lot.
But yeah. So what stereotype did you have like? Did you think there was kind of a
Yeah.
stereotype?
As an American, yeah, they thought that we're all just rambunctious. You want to be out there getting drunk and fucking shit up, and I think that because maybe that's just a military idea. I don't know if that's just
they,
all Americans.
They thought that about you guys.
Us, yes,
Oh, okay.
yes. Like
Which
whenever
is,
we go
which
out.
is weird because we think about the Germans with the Das Boot and everything.
Yeah, we think they're out partying and shit, whatever.
Yeah.
Nah, but whenever we're out, Germans want to hang with us when we're partying because they always think that we're gonna take it to the next level. They're like, oh, yo, these Americans, they're gonna fuck shit up. Let's go. And sometimes they're right. Sometimes we go hard, we go ham, but I don't think that's for everybody. Like, I get wild when I get drunk or whatever, but I don't get
No,
to the point where
wild. He does get wild.
But yeah, I think that was one of them. And then you have the stereotypes of like past Americans, past your the country where you're from, to like the culture, to your color, skin, and all that other stuff. So just as you find racism here in America, you'll find racism everywhere in the world. You know,
so they're racist to darker people.
Yeah, in certain areas. Closer to Austria, actually, by Munich. There was this one time we were on a trip. It was just 4 people, 3 of us military dudes, and then 1 foreign national dude. The guy was born in Germany, and good friend of mine. And he was basically our translator, but we were also like chilling with him. So he knew the area. He was like, all right, I'm going to take you guys here. We're going to go to this club over here. I'm going to go to this museum over there, whatever, and just have fun. I'm like, all right, cool. So we take this train, and on the train, the lady's coming by clipping tickets and shit, and she says something to him in German, and we're like, she has a certain face, and she's kind of like looks disgusted or whatever, and then looks our way, says something to him in German, and then kind of like just walks in between us. We're sitting here, like we're sitting on a bench. He's closer to one of the exits, and the other 3 of us are kind of like in a row. She's by him, and she says that whatever she says to him in German, and then kind of like walks towards our way, gives us a look, and then walks past. And then we're like immediately like, okay, what the fuck did she just say?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, she asked me if I want these like darkies, I guess, in there. I forget the term that they use, whatever, for dark people, whatever. Because it was 2 black people and then me, and then he was a white dude. And then I forgot the word that they use for people of color over there, but she said that, yeah, like the derogatory term, and she's like, you want me to get them out of here? Are they bothering you? And he was like, no, how about you leave? And then, like telling her to leave.
Yeah.
And she just,
that's crazy, man.
I was like, okay.
2020. Wait, what year was that?
That was before COVID. This was like 2018.
Still though,
but yeah,
holy fuck, man,
it's
that's
everywhere.
Crazy. Yeah. I truly believe it's everywhere, because even in fucking Peru, they were still fucking. Dude's Peruvian, and they're still being fucking racist to him just because he's darker than us.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Mind fucks me. I'm like, are we still here today? It's just that it sucks to say, but until that generation dies, we don't know. And even with that generation has made an impact on their kids. And those kids, if they carry those same stupid values, they'll continue to do it. Mm-hmm. So will racism ever die? I don't think so.
No. It's also sad to say. I feel like it's part of humanity in a way. And what I mean is that it comes from ignorance. And obviously we come into this world ignorant to a lot of different things. And with technology and learning from each other, things like that, those stereotypes and all that other shit goes away. But if you're set in your ways, you're not really versed in trying to learn about other people in different cultures. And
yeah, man,
you become that closed-minded bigot. You become somebody who's afraid of a different color of person or different culture, whatever, because they're not the same as you. And if they're not the same as you, they might be doing things that you might not like or whatever. It might be hurtful to you.
Yo, man, you know, we were just literally talking about this too. Like, there's a stigma between me and his culture too, because like he's from Chile, I'm from Peru. Mm-hmm. Well, we're not, but that's where our culture backgrounds are from, and our people hate each other. You know, and it's over a piece of land that happened years ago, which ironically, you know, in the Middle East, that's happening right now. Mm-hmm. But Peru and Chile, they were at war. They had war over this piece of land. I think Chile ended up getting the land at the end of the day, or there's still some discrepancy with the land
between them and Bolivia too, I think.
Yeah, and you know, I was telling him, like, even the joke, like, every time we saw like a Chileno like out in the street, like my parents knew, and you know, at that time my family was a little ignorant, and they would be like, "Oh, look at like ese Chileno sucio," like they would just be like, and I never understand. I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess Chileans are horrible people. But then as I grew up, like I knew it didn't fucking matter. It wasn't supposed to be a thing. I always had an open mind, and my friends growing up, I grew up in Inwood, which is down the block from over here, literally. I grew up with black people. I grew up with Spanish people, Asian, white people. Like, as a kid, we're not, like, if no one says anything to us, bro, like, I put this in my Facebook a long time ago. I was scrolling through my Facebook memories, and I remember this thing that I put. When you give a kid that hasn't experienced the world, is maybe in pre-K, you give him a box of crayons. I promise you that kid will pick every color and draw his picture with every single color. There'll never be a color that he'll be like, oh no, I don't like that color. I don't like this color. Like,
yeah. Unless
told,
Yeah.
and mate, you saying, oh, don't use black, don't use brown, like, and then that kid will be programmed to start thinking like that. So
Yeah.
racism comes from very early, man. It comes from parenting. It comes from these stigmas, these stereotypes. And we use it. I mean, I'm guilty of it, but I'm not racist. Like, I know, like, some of them just make me laugh, bro. I'm a dark humor guy.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, you hear about these stereotypes all the time. Asians can't drive.
Yeah.
What is it? Black people are always late to events.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish people, you know, if it's at 4, you know, the party starts at 6. You know? Or just the stereotype that all Spanish people are fucking Mexican, which fucking gets me tight. It just gets me tight. Like, I know that's
I had a
changing.
white friend ask me that too. He's like, "Why do you guys hate that so much? And everybody calls you Mexican." I was just,
Imagine everyone fucking called you like German. Like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
it's not our culture, and we're very proud of our culture. So, like, if you call me a different culture, it's not like I hate Mexicans. It's just I'm not Mexican.
Yeah,
you
like,
know?
why would you ask me that? Like, yo, I'd rather you just be like, yo, are you Puerto Rican? I'm like, oh, thanks for you at least assuming that. But it's always like, are you Mexican? I'm like, nah, I'm not fucking Mexican. Like, no, like, I have nothing against Mexicans. But like,
Yeah.
I know why you're saying that. So, you know, you experienced Germany. Tell me about some cultural differences. How can cultural differences enrich our lives and broaden our perspectives?
Yeah. Just by making friends and being, whereas like you're scared to like travel or not wanting to be somewhere because you're unfamiliar with the area or familiar with how it is. You learn their culture, you learn their customs. It makes it an easier transition to be able to be placed in that area. And I think that's just for anything. Like if you just want to even casually make a trip to Japan, to Russia, wherever you want to go, read up a little bit, you know, see what the customs are, see what they do, see what the people do, because there's nothing more insulting than walking into a place that's not your own, acting like you own the place, and just being rude to everybody. And you sometimes don't even know it. You know, you're ignorant. You just don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I agree with you, man. That's why I always say I encourage people to travel. And before you travel, if you don't do your homework, ask. You know, I'm sure those people don't have an
Sure.
issue. You, if anything, it shows a sign of respect.
Right.
Like when we went to Thailand, bro. You know, we went in a group, and a lot of us had no fear to ask. We would ask questions like, "How do you say thank you? How do you say this?"
Mm-hmm.
And they like that stuff because it looks like you at least have an open mind to
Yep.
to wanting to learn,
Yep.
to respecting their culture. Because, like I said, you know, we come from a melting pot, but just because you leave this melting pot, don't fucking carry what you do in New York, like,
Yeah. Like
over
it's
there.
the
Like,
end all be all, you know?
exactly. Like,
Yeah.
oh, what I know is right. Like, no, what you know in New York is right.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but what you may bring over to the France, to Italy, to Peru, to Africa, to wherever you go,
Yep.
could get you fucking killed, could get you mopped right in the face.
Yeah, for sure. Like being in Germany doesn't mean I was just in Germany the whole time. I was able to travel all over Europe. But one place I went to was France, and seeing in France that, you know, the stigma is that they hate Americans. Yeah, exactly. That's how it is, right? You think that, but when I just even attempted to speak in French to like ask for directions or ask, you know, where's this place, whatever, they appreciate it, and there's no hate behind that because they see that
you're
effort is
trying.
pushed. Yeah, the effort's pushed forth. So like,
I like that. That's good, man. That's good. So we talked about some cultural differences. I hope you guys like that little sector. If we still feel like there's something in it, we'll discuss it as we go. But let's talk about converts, man. So first when I think of this place, man, all I think about is long hours, and we're gonna describe that in more detail. Why that means that.
rough.
But to me personally, it was my first real job, and the number one. A lot of the things that I got from this job is what I'm about to say, and I hope that me and you can correlate that this is what Converts has done for us. Work ethic. It has brought me a lot of work ethic. It made me work hard. Made me believe that anything is possible because of my transition there.
Yeah.
And the people that I got to meet, man. I have good friends like Rob. I have good friends that I was able to, and I brought a lot of my friends to that place too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was a very fun time, a very good like era that we had at Converts. I bet you that the era now, if I go back, is probably trash. Determination, and it made me really believe in the concept that when you're working nonstop, time flies.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna ask you, what do you think? Do you agree with all that?
Yeah, a quick thing, kind of to say that there's similarities in what we had, also to how the military is, because you had these long hours, you work constantly, and you're with this small squad of people that you see basically every day, right? So you're all working towards this common goal, to defeat this one common enemy, whatever it is. You kind of like get acquainted through hardship, and that's how you guys kind of like
Mold.
become.
Yeah,
Exactly.
even if you guys don't get along, you guys have that one similarity.
Exactly. You all hate Kenny, or you hate. having a fucking-
Converse, by the way, everyone, is a catering hall.
Yeah.
It's a place we used to work. It's based off Oceanside, but I don't even think that matters. And it's a place me and Rob got. Did we start around the same time?
Yeah, I think you started before me, but it was pretty close because I got the job from Pablo.
Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably came a couple months after me then, because
Dr.
I remember seeing Dr. Pablo. I saw him and his wife and his kid in the
No
mall.
way.
Yeah, I
Crazy.
bumped into them, and yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie, Pablo. If you ever watch this, bro, you look like shit, bro. That's what scared me, because I was like, fuck, maybe the kid is not it yet. Let me not have a kid anytime soon. You look tired. You had bags under your eyes. You just look like that kid was beating you up, bro.
No way.
It's not insulting. I just know that daddy life is hitting you hard, bro. So
I mean, it ain't no joke, dude.
Facts.
That in of itself is a whole full-time job. So it's like you're working another full-time job.
I looked at him. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I think I was with my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, yo, that guy looks beat up right now.
He's going through it.
Yeah, I was like, yo, we're not having kids anytime soon, bro. Like, that shit is crazy. But good for him, man. Like, he's creating his family. He's doing everything that we're speaking about.
Yeah.
He's in that moment, and that was probably, I saw him 2 years ago, probably now.
Okay.
So that kid must be a lot older. He must be getting a lot more rest. The first 2-3 years is very tough, because the baby all it knows what to do is cry and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely not an easy task. Like you said, it's another full-time job on top of everything that you want to do. So what I'd like to share about Converts with Rob is that me and him, like he said, man, we had a goal. And to just give you a description of our day, I'm not fucking lying when I say this. People always think I'm exaggerating. It was 18 hours on a Saturday, bro. And sometimes if it was a booked event, we had booked events like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Thursday wouldn't be so bad. Like, you'd have to come in at 3 or 4, work from like 3 probably to like, if the party was over, maybe at the party event was over like at 10.
Yep.
Then like an hour of cleanup, which would be 11.
Yeah.
So that's not bad. That's like 5-6 hours. But then Friday comes and you have an all day event, or even if it's just a 1-day event, you work maybe not to 10, you work till midnight.
Yeah.
And then you're getting home at like 1 in the morning. That's another like 10 hours. And then Saturday, it's an all 18-hour shift. So already take that. You're already at 28 hours. You're basically almost at full time.
Yeah.
In just 3 days. And then Sunday event comes in, which is probably, let's just give it a 10-hour event. You're at 38 hours. And that is one thing I want to talk about. The pros of working at Converts, bro. I met great people there. Progression was definitely possible as long as Kenny liked you.
Yeah.
Kenny was the boss.
Yeah.
And if he didn't fucking like you, you weren't going anywhere.
Right.
If he liked you, you were going somewhere.
Right.
And the one thing I got from there, like I mentioned in the beginning, was work ethic. It was able to kind of show me like, all right, if I can handle this, every job after this is going to be super easy. And it was, man. I work at I don't say where I work, so I say Home Depot. So I work at Home Depot, and yeah, man. When they tell me, hey, you want to work these extra hours? Can you pick up an extra day? I'm like, yeah, why not? As long as you don't stick me here till 2-3 in the morning, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I've always gotten. What do you think are some of the pros that you've gotten from working there?
Yeah, definitely that first point. Longevity of friendship. It's dope to have people that still friends with for a long time. Like, I met Johan there. Johan's a very close friend of mine, and like, yeah, just being able to have these relationships still to this day, and that was based off of that job is awesome. And then that second point, work ethic, just having to be able to know that no matter what, you can't rattle me, like, because I've been through the shit, because not only was the job physically demanding, it was mentally demanding, because you had people yelling
at you.
exactly
People
down you.
Rich people yelling at you.
Basically, people thinking, treating you like shit. Like, okay, like, nah, I'm a real person too. I can't slap you right now. I really wish I could slap you, but
you just put a face like,
yeah,
and then just walk away.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we talk to Freddie or somebody else about it, and we're like, yo, fuck these people, man.
Yeah, Freddie would get tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, a lot. Like I said, the catering hall was definitely very, very intense. It required a lot. Not a lot of people could handle that kind of job, and the people that did, I met some great people. Like he was saying, like Johan is just a great example that at a job, anything's possible. And he found his true love there.
Yeah.
Barbie, and they ended up getting married. So look at that. Like that, shit happens at the catering hall. Mm-hmm. I met Rob. Because of that, I opened my circle and I put a lot of my friends there.
Yeah.
Rob met people like Shane, Jamel, Herbert.
All your boys through.
Yeah, man. A lot of my friends worked there, and it was a great transition because a lot of people that experienced that were able to tell me, like, after that, any job was pretty much easy, man. Mm-hmm. It was very high demanding. Like I can't even. Like thinking about it, it's making me laugh, bro, because it would be fucking intense the hours we put in. Like I just described it, bro, but like feeling it is a different fucking, bro. Yeah. Like I don't know if you did this. I used to bring 2 socks to work. If the first event ended and then we were getting ready for the second one, I would go change my socks. It's disgusting. It would be drenched in sweat. It felt like I just did a workout, bro. And I had my Samsung watch back in the day. Mm-hmm. Bro, you don't want to believe me? You don't have to believe me. 40,000 steps minimum on a weekend. If I had to work all day Saturday, 40,000 steps, bro. Mm-hmm. So that shit was possible, like, because it was nonstop moving. It was like we had to get ready for the event. Were you a busboy too?
Well, I started as a busboy. I started with you, and I started with you, and then
I remember your first day. I remember I'm like, yo, you should quit, bro.
You were like, fuck this place. I was like, yeah. And I saw Kenny. Kenny yells every day, but that was my first day. Kenny yelling and smashing a plate on the floor. I was like, okay, wow.
He was a douchebag to me.
Yeah.
I don't think you were there for that. Like, he's also a reason why I'm not afraid of heights. Well, I'm still afraid of heights, but I'm not afraid to do it anymore.
Okay.
Like, I'm still like, if I'm in that moment, like I'm in that height moment, I'm fucking freaking out. But I'm not like I used to be. I wouldn't even conquer that fear.
Oh, anxious.
But you remember when those fucking light bulbs would fucking go off, and he would make us carry that fucking ladder?
Yeah.
I will never forget the day he made me do it, bro. I was shitting bricks because it was me and Herbert.
Yeah.
And he didn't trust Herbert to do it. He's like, I don't trust that fucking kid. he would curse all the time. And if he had a feeling, like, bro, he used to call me fat fuck all the time. He's like, get over here, you fat fuck. And I'd be like, oh my God, you fucking asshole. Douchebag. Yeah, you fucking. And this guy was fucking huge. He looked like Hulk Hogan.
Jack, dude.
But he was a vegetarian. Which is I still don't believe he definitely fucking pumped roids, bro.
Yeah, had to.
But the reason I was describing the ladder is because this asshole, I changed the light bulb, and he pushed the ladder. Because the ladder, like, do you remember where the partitions were?
Yeah.
So there was like a kind of like this. Like, there was like a wall like this.
Yeah.
So when he pushed the ladder, the tip of the ladder fell on that, but the ladder was this way.
Oh,
it was like that.
Shit.
I'm begging for him, like, please, bro. He's like, don't be afraid of heights ever again, you fucking pussy. And then he put the ladder back to normal, bro. I never went up for a light bulb again.
Oh my.
God. I did eventually after that. Because I would make sure that asshole was never in the room. I'm like, yo, Kenny, if I'm changing this light bulb, get the fuck out of here. Because I used to talk him back after I got comfortable with him. Like, yo, get the fuck out of here. He would get so mad at me. He's like, how are my employees talking to me like this? He would get so fucking pissed, bro. But
yeah, that changed from like going just to being a busboy to fucking whatever it was, to a waiter. All that progression was because not being afraid to say shit to Kenny. I was like, okay, I'm a busboy. You put me as a busboy. You thought that I'm only capable of this, but I've been doing all this shit. I'm ready. Like, give me the job already, saying that to him. And he's eventually like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll think about it. And then I just keep on hounding him. I'm like, until you actually get into his ass and be like, okay, man, like, I deserve this. Give me this shit. Like, I've been working too hard. fucking gave it.
Yeah,
Eventually he gave it to me. I was like, okay, fine.
Facts, man. You're 100% right when you say that. He was someone that admired confidence, someone that admired being able to pause, take it, and then
Dish
give it
it
right
back.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was someone that really appreciated that. And not the greatest boss, but there was a lot of good things I learned from that. Like you said,
course.
progression, man.
Yep.
Like I started off as someone, my first job at the catering hall was to clean their garbage cans with their huge garbage tanks.
Yep.
It was disgusting. I had to power wash them with Travis. I'll never forget. From there, I became a dishwasher. From the dishwasher, I became a busboy. From a busboy, I became a waiter sometimes, but I didn't like doing it because it was like a weird stigma too, like where the waiters, they were the fucking high-end paid
Prima
motherfuckers, prima donnas. Yeah, even though it didn't make fucking sense. And from there, I ended up moving as a floor manager to the kids section because of my boy Juan. Shout out Juan. And it was a good time, man. Like I was put into a position of power very young, but it was good because I got to see that maybe management is something I wanted to get into, and that's what I ended up going to school for. And now I'm a manager in my field, Home Depot.
Home Depot. Yeah.
I'm a supervisor in my
Working
field.
in paints.
Yeah, exactly. You'll find me. Just go to each Home Depot and ask for Puka. But it showed me at an early stage. I'm not saying, and Kenny offered me a couple of opportunities to make it a career, but I never wanted to.
Yeah.
I didn't like the line of food. It was very demanding. Shout out to the people that still do it, man. Freddie's probably still doing it. I don't know how I mean, I know why he's doing it. The paycheck's there,
Right,
man. The
right.
paycheck, the money's there, but very demanding.
Yeah, you earn that money.
Yeah, you earn that money, and you don't get to really make your schedule there. Like there are sometimes he didn't give Freddie his freedom because he needed him for the events, and a catering hall. You think they're trying to just book for one weekend? No, they're trying to book every weekend, 52 weeks a year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are you okay not having your weekends? That catering hall place, like if you're in it deep, like if you're a full timer, that means you're going in during the weekday, still cleaning it, making sure everything's inventory, everything is ready.
Yeah.
So,
And even worse too, like on your off days, especially when you get older, from all that torment you're putting your body through, you're fucking done. You don't want to do shit.
yeah,
Like,
man.
you're just tired. you know?
Hips are done.
Yeah, like all that. My back killing me. Like no,
Oh, yeah,
I
bro,
don't
I
want to do
remember
nothing.
that. I was buying boots every 2 months because it was just the wear and tear you would do on your fucking feet, bro.
Exactly.
It was crazy. I have hip issues, so like I'm not even trying to front. Like I have hip issues because of that fucking place.
Oh my god.
But that's what I was about to say. What are the cons to it? I mean, long, tough hours for me were crazy. Tough boss. Like he was a tough son of a bitch, but sometimes he had his bad sides. Like hearing that on a bad day, like yo, shut the fuck up. Like stop shouting, motherfucker.
Too much sometimes.
Yeah, just too crazy. Like he was like definitely moments away from a heart attack half the time, bro.
Yep.
When he was giving his rants, consistent moving nonstop, bro. We had a 15-minute break. That was our fucking break. A 15-minute break, which is insane.
Shovel food down our fucking throat.
Yeah, and that's how I got fucking fat too, because I would just fucking there was so much good food. That's the one good thing. That was the negative part. I was trying to you remember Jamel's place? Jamel's place he would never fucking finish it, bro. But his fucking plates were like this big.
Yeah.
And he would always be taking food in a container home.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to throw that shit out. And body pain, like Rob said, bro. My hip issues are definitely from that place.
Yeah.
I'm probably cartilage on no, there's no more cartilage there. I'm just like hip on
Bone
hip.
on bone?
Yeah,
Oof.
bro. It's fucking painful. But like a funny story that we can say, or like memorable times that we can agree on is like, remember when we would finally like an event would be over, there was nothing to do the next day. He'd be nice, let us have the catering hall and just drink.
Yeah.
After.
Yep. I miss those times. It was and it's funny because sometimes he kicks back too with us, and he just
he'd kick back. Yeah, he would shoot the shit with us. You know what? And that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Nothing feels better. This sounds so alcoholic. So hopefully one of these beer companies can use this. Nothing feels better
The way you say
after an 18-hour shift and cracking a cold one, bro. Bro, I just got goosebumps on. Like, bro, it was the greatest beer. Like it's like I worked for that fucking shit, bro.
Yeah.
And it was a great feeling kicking it back with Rob, Johan, Jamel, Shane, whoever was there, the girls, the waitresses. That's when the waitress, the waiters, and the bus boys finally combined. And we're like, all right, fuck
talk
this
our shit. Yeah.
Yeah, we just complain, have a good time. It was good moments, man. And he'd host sometimes Christmas parties and stuff for us.
Yep.
Those were lit too. You
Yep.
know, nice
Yep.
little the food, just the ambiance, and the people. You know, sometimes you want to see what's under the fucking that red jacket, that black jacket. And it was just
Exactly.
like some people came with swag, man.
Yep.
Juan would always come with his fucking chains and shit and his fucking clothes.
Yeah.
Getting to see that your coworkers become your friends, become people you care about. And I mean, fuck, man. I mean, if I started in, fuck, that means you started early too. You were young.
20. Yeah, I was 21, 20, somewhere around there.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck. Wait, how old are you right now? If you don't
31.
mind.
31.
No way. You didn't start when you were 20 then.
Yeah. Why?
No, no way.
Why?
I started when I was 7. I started in 11th grade, so I had just turned 17.
Holy shit.
I think you started when you were like 19.
Wow.
Yeah, you weren't even supposed to crack one, man. Me and you.
It's fucking-
Yeah, man. I worked there 5 years. I worked there from the moment I was 17 till 22.
yeah.
Because
That's
2017, I quit. I finally quit.
Damn.
You quit because you left, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but you were still working there.
No. I think I quit before that. I think I
Oh.
quit. Yeah, I must have quit because I was working, I think, at Advance at one point, and I had this other job, and I was just like, nah, it's too much.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah, it
It was
wasn't
very
worth
demanding.
it. Coming on a weekend, just a couple hundred for busting my ass for this guy and yelling all the time. I was like, no, fuck this. I don't
Yeah.
give a shit.
Do you remember when he gave his raises, bro? Those raises were hilarious. Back in the day, he gave me a raise from like $9 to $13, and I was like so happy. But thinking about it now, he fucking G'd me, bro.
Yeah, big time, dude. Big time.
Because
Big
fucking
time.
minimum wage, I think, was 13.
Yeah.
No wonder he gave me. He's like, yo, I'm gonna give you this. But I was young. I was stupid. I didn't know any better.
Oh
And
my god, amazing.
yeah, I was like, damn, bro, I'm making the real dollars now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, just fucking fisting you.
Yeah, bro, he was fucking taking advantage of me, bro. But yeah, like I said, man, it was creating so many memories. There were so many fun times. I met some crazy people, man. Some
Yeah.
crazy people. Shout out to Gabe too.
Mm-hmm.
I bumped into him once after I finally quit. It was this guy that was a bartender
Mm-hmm.
that ended up dating the boss's daughter and getting married with her.
Yep. They have kids? I thought they had kids.
Yeah, they had kids too. I think they have 2 kids. And I saw him being a dad. He's still the fucking same
Huge
8
bulky dude.
motherfucker that he is. Like, he's huge as fuck. And yeah, man, I was meeting so many people, getting to know them, having good times, having lots of cold beers at the end of the day. And yeah, like I said, when you pop one open after a hard day of work, bro, it feels so much different. You just know it's rewarding. It knows, it just tastes better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that moment, you're just having a good time. Like, you forget about that. Like, even though you're suffering in those moments, like with work and everything and body pain, there's a lot of good memories that came out of that place,
Yeah.
man. A lot of good stuff. You know, I used to say like I regretted it, but I don't, man. Like it was a lot of good times, a lot of good people I met.
Even Kenny himself, because he can be antagonistic. He can be like that yelling, rampaging, huge gorilla dude. But in that, you learn how not to be, and also how to deal with anxiety, how to deal with stress, how to like handle yourself accordingly.
Correct.
If you're in the line of fire, you got to be a cool, level head and just not take it out on anybody else. Just do your job and fucking be good at it.
It just showed you too, like in I would, like I said, I would never do what Kenny did, but it showed you passion. Like he
True.
was very passionate
True.
about it was his business at the end of the day,
yeah.
and he definitely could have handled it a lot better. But sometimes like me and Rob need that so we know not to do it that way, but we understand where it's coming from. It's very it's very raw. Like a lot of
Yeah.
it was very raw. But after time and time again, you just knew like this dickhead was the way he was. He was never gonna change. He wasn't looking to change. He
Nope.
never said, "Hey, someone help me."
Unapologetic.
Yeah, he did not give
He didn't apologize.
he did not give 2 fucks about changing.
Yeah.
But definitely shows you that there are people there that are actually trying to make a difference. And
You ever watched the movie Whiplash?
no, it's
Okay.
good.
Yeah, it's great. But if you watch the movie Whiplash, you'll see one of the characters is just like Kenny. Just like Kenny, yeah. Because he'll have his soft moments too. Kind of be like coy, but he'll also be, crazy, yelling, saying some crazy shit. And just
Yeah.
the dichotomy of just somebody insane and then somebody just level-headed. And you're like, ooh, this is the same person? How the fuck is this even possible?
Kenny's one of those people that if he fucks up, he's not sending himself to apologize. He's sending his secretary. And he did it a bunch of times. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times that motherfucker sent his person to go apologize for him. But That's how you knew Kenny really cared about you if he was personally apologizing to you. And I got that a couple of times.
Sure.
I'll never forget. He threw a fucking plate at me, bro.
For real.
Yeah, because I contradicted, like, he yelled at me at the floor, and I got so tight because what he yelled at me for was a variable I couldn't control. Like, there was no, and it was his fault too because he took all my staff from me.
Yeah.
So then I told him on the floor in front of the I guess the person that hosted the party, I'm like, yo, you took everyone from me. How do you expect one person to clean this up? And he's like, come, and then he pointed his finger. We went into, you remember that breezeway before we entered the kids section?
Yeah.
He fucking threw a plate at me. He goes, don't fucking ever yell at me in front of the fucking party event host. And I'm like, I looked at him like, I'm walking away right now because I'm like, I can get fucked up, but I also didn't want, him to know that he won. So I walked away, and then he was trying to scream at Freddie. He's like, Poker's not listening to me. And then Freddie had to like pull me aside. What happened? And I told him, like, yo, this asshole threw a plate at me. And then Freddie had to go calm him down.
Yep.
And then finally Kenny came up to me and he hugged me and said, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I was being a dick, but you can't talk to me like that in front of people. I'm like, if you would have just said that to me, bro, that would have been it.
Yeah, it would have been.
But throwing a fucking plate and shit like a kid, like, fuck out of here. You could have fucking hurt me.
Yeah.
But let's just say he gave me a little, cover of that. Let's just say sorry. Because I'm telling you, he knows when he's being a douchebag.
Yeah.
Those type of people are just a little psychotic sometimes. All right, let's move on to the next subject. Goals prior and post marriage. So, yo, ChatGPT did great, bro. So these are some fire questions. These are not even puka questions. What are some common individual goals before you have before getting married, and how do these goals evolve after marriage?
Yeah.
But first of all, can I ask you a question? You see anyone right now?
No.
We're in the same boat, bro.
Yeah,
We're in the same boat. We're in the same boat. All right.
Focused on career. Yeah.
Okay, I like that. So what are we doing right now?
Since I'm transitioning out of the military, I'm focused on that. So that the first main goal is finding that next step, seeing what skills I had that can translate into something that can be like life impacting, get something that can really set me up for the rest of my life. So just basically job searching for the right job. Making sure that's the main goal.
Can I ask you, what were you doing in the Air Force? That
I worked as an airplane mechanic for for cargo aircraft.
Nice. Yeah. Was that intense?
Sometimes it could be, sometimes it wasn't. So it depended on where I was at, at a certain point in time, because there's different facets of different levels of what you do. There's when you work on the actual the air what you call it, the apron, or the where the plane takes off and lands. You have that, and that's just basically like a Jiffy Lube mechanic type of deal. And then you have when the plane breaks down and it needs a more in-depth inspection, you put it into a hangar. And that's basically when you're putting a car up on a lift type of deal. You inspect things, you have to look at things, beef up certain things, change things out. And then there's another third, more and more in-depth, and you look even deeper into like the bones of the aircraft, and you fix big, huge major components that make the aircraft able to fly and shit like that. And yeah, this.
Let me ask you something. Why didn't you continue in the military? I have a lot of military friends, and a lot of them tell me that there can be careers, but what obstacle did you see yourself running into?
One huge thing is the institutionalization of thinking that the military is it. Then that's why when I came into the military, I was telling you earlier that when I talk to these younger guys, I'm telling them there's life past this. It's great to serve and all. I really appreciate people who do, and I think it's a good thing. I think that honestly we should be like South Korea, and we should at least have a 2-year minimum for everybody to serve, just to give that little mindset of
like Israel too, right?
Yeah,
they do a 4-year thing.
Exactly. Just have an idea of what it is that goes through in order to like get this country running. Because I mean, we do pump a whole shit ton of money into the military, but I don't think nobody gives that back, And I feel like in the military, if you were to like see what we do, kind of have an idea of what goes on.
Because if you ever get in like this is a hypothetical, but if you ever get attacked, you want to know that every civilian can handle their own, maybe.
True.
And be a good way
Facts.
to doing that.
Yeah.
And it could help with the way of life, the way people think, but it also could do a lot of damage too. I just feel like, but you're right. I think there would be a lot more compassion for these veterans if everyone had to go through it.
Yeah, true. And also maybe as a side note, I don't know if it'll help or not, but maybe it would help the issue of all this mishandling of weapons. True. All these mass shootings and shit that we always have.
We can have people that actually like know what the fuck they're doing,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a lot of them are also right. And if this could be a horrible statistics I'm throwing out there, but
Yeah.
a lot of the mass shootings come from former people that were in the military in some way.
Some people, yeah, they have
Yeah.
mental issues, PTSD or whatever it may have you. Like they might have something that they're struggling with, but they handle the weapon. I guess if you know how to handle a weapon, yeah, it makes you more likely, I guess, to engage in something like that if you have a mental disease. But if everybody served and everybody had some way about how to learn to handle a weapon, maybe they can defend us and themselves, their family, whoever, the right way.
Did you see anyone, honestly, if you don't mind speaking about it, did you
Yeah.
see anyone that suffered from a lot of mental issues
Yeah.
that were inside the,
Mhm.
how do you cope with that? Like, how do you as a brother, I guess, help
Yeah.
another brother out?
So usually those people are medically exempt, so they'll probably just kick them out or whatever.
Really? Just
yeah.
like that, though?
Well, no, they'll obviously give them some type of like stipend, some type of package. You know, like they say they give them a disability.
Oh,
You know,
but
just
you know,
disability
you're
pay.
going to be dismissed, but we're still taking care of you. Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
They're not just like kick them out the door.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I was thinking at
Nah.
first. I'm like, damn, no, that's
No.
rough.
Yeah, and it's obviously after certain mental thing, like certain big impacts in their lives, they went through some shit. So like they rightfully deserve it. So at the time before that interim, because it doesn't happen right away, they have to go see a board, and the medical examiners have to like give them all these different tests, so on and so forth. So like in the meantime, they're still living life. They still have to do their day-to-day work as a military person
Until all that's over.
until all of it's over. So the best thing that you could do is and if you're like close with them, is just not treat them like an outcast, not treat them like they're a hindrance or whatever. Treat them like you always treat them, and don't exclude them.
Why is that brotherhood so strong, man? Could you give an example? Like, I mean, like, I know you said like
Yeah.
everyone, you see everyone day to day, and it's all working towards a goal. So even if you don't like them, there's still kind of like a respect bond.
Yeah.
But why? Like, what else can you describe that makes it such a bond?
That's a good question. I think that I feel like it might be different for other people, but I feel like because we know that at the end of the day, shit goes down, we're all going out. We all are super real with each other, and we all accept each other for who we are for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, if you like you saying like I might not get along with somebody, but I'll respect them because they're doing their work and they do what they need to do, and that's it. Like I'm sometimes if I'm cordial with you, I'm cordial with you, but I can be more of a friend to you if I know who you are and you are showing me that true person. And I feel like that happens a lot more often in the military. People are their true selves. They're a lot more unapologetically themselves, and you don't really get judged too much for it. Like it's crazy too because you'll see people on their off times wearing like furry costumes and like some real crazy shit, and people they don't really judge them. They just they live their day to day, and people they're very accepting.
That's good, man.
It's
That's good.
very interesting to see. I wouldn't think so like in the military, but it happens.
That's good, man. Like I said, I always respected and I always wanted to like I always respected that brotherhood. You know, that I know that brotherhood is real. I know it's strong.
Yeah.
And there's like it's more about the respecting. Like I know
Yeah.
for a fact that plays like a big thing just because you're doing that job, like
Yeah.
you're gonna tip off your hat to that person. And like I said, even if you don't like them, like you know that the respect level's still there. Like
Yeah.
you treat me with respect, I treat you with respect, and we don't gotta have to fucking talk. But
Yeah,
we
when
have
shit
a-
goes down, you know that person's gotta have to have your back, and you vice versa. You know,
Correct. So I'm gonna say basically the same thing. What are some common individual goals people have before getting married, and how do those goals evolve after marriage?
Yeah.
Right now, man, career focused. Trying to make this podcast work every day. You know, trying to stay focused on. One thing I'm learning to do is live in the moment a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm learning to accept even the bad times with the good times because a lot of people, you know, they lead to alcohol, lead to drugs, and try to avoid what's going on now, bro. And I'm trying so hard to be that old. I'm not trying to be that old self, you know. A lot of those days, what I didn't tell you about the convert days, like a lot of those days left a lot of dark days, like when I wasn't working and I would lead to alcohol. It'd be, you know, and I use the excuse I was younger, you know. I was like, let me live life, and I thought living life was all about drinking, getting fucking hammered till like no control. Like I'd black out a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And I had no one there to guide me.
Yeah.
Everyone was around my same age. Everyone was doing the same shit.
Yep.
So I thought that was the answer, and I thought eventually I was gonna snap out of it. Okay, but bro, it took real shit to snap me out of it, man. It took health issues. It took realizing that I was driving while intoxicated sometimes, bro. And I hope my fucking nieces are never doing this because I related it to them. Like I was very lucky to finally snap out of it. Like it took me a while, but bro, it was dark. It was some dark moments. I didn't even tell you. I didn't tell a lot of people. Like there was some real shit that was going on with me, and then finally, like things around me, my variables, like my dad was getting like not sick, but he got like injured at the job. I was told I had to pick up the pace. Like when am I finishing school? Like Spanish things. The
Yeah.
culture is like when are you finishing school? I wasn't doing so great in school. I was, if anything, I was going backwards instead of forwards. So a lot of real shit took for me to finally change, and that's what I'm trying to do different. I'm trying to enjoy the moment and do everything right this time.
Yeah. Take a real good look in that mirror and just say, okay, this is it. You got to deal with it. You got to be able to face what you are.
You think you would have been stuck if you never went to the military? In a dark place?
Yeah, I feel like because the dark place is still there. It doesn't really leave.
Facts.
I think being able to face all your emotions just comes with a certain type of maturity, but sometimes it is a little bit too much to handle. I don't think being in the military changes that. Like sometimes you got to know your limits. When to like ask for that help and know when to deal with the whatever emotion it is appropriately. But yeah, I feel like military did help in a way.
That's good, man. Yeah, no, like I said, it took for me. I didn't have the military. It took a whole new start, a whole new refresh button, which a lot of people sometimes they get so stuck in their ways that
they don't get that opportunity.
Yeah, that refresh button doesn't work, bro.
Yep.
So how can couples effectively communicate and align their individual goals before tying the knot? We're both not in couples, but when I was, what I could say is that communication was key, man. Trying to communicate and correlate with your partner or your future partner or your current partner, wherever you are in your stage, is trying to make sure you're honest from day one.
Right. Like
if you're not honest and you're not describing your desires, your ambitions, where you want to perceive yourself and your couple, if for the people that are single like us, I think that when we start to date again and we start to see a development in a partner that we're choosing, I think it's very important for us to correlate that message, because if we're not and we just assume they should know, like that's not okay, because like at that point, like you don't know where her career and her ambitions align with yours, and it could be something that hinders you, because let's say she's not looking to, like, let's say my future couple is not looking to live in New York. That already hinders me right there, because I'm looking to stay. Am I open to it? Yeah, I would be open to it, but that's where the communication kicks in.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think that communication is very good. Also, knowing when to give in. What's that word? When you're being more accommodating to somebody, then knowing when you should give in and when you should just stand your ground.
Yeah. But basically, I think I know the word you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Knowing, I can't think of it, but I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. It's a give and take thing. Like,
exactly.
I'm willing to give this out, but you got to also, be able to do this.
Exactly. Reciprocation.
Yeah, reciprocation. Yeah. It's hard, man, because when you're talking about another individual with dreams and ambitions, like, no one's wrong. Like if this person's like that, that's what happened with my previous relationship. Like, there's certain ways that she wanted to go and certain things she needed to do. And who am I to tell her, like, that's not right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a big thing. Do you think, this is a question for you, do you think that a lot of people say this, in a relationship, that one person is going to be loving the other one a little bit more always? There's always that type of...
someone's going to love more than...
Yeah, there's one person that's always just a little bit more giving, a little bit more loving than the other person in a relationship. Is that always the case?
I think that I used to think like that. I used to think that there was always someone that's going to love more. I think it's more about who's in that partnership, right?
Yeah.
There are people, like I talked to this about with my podcast with Andrea, with the girl that I had. There are just people that love to love.
Yeah.
Like they're all about the giving.
Yeah.
There are some people that aren't really givers. They're just more of, when they do their loving moments, they feel like they're giving it their all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like they're not
a different
always
love language, you're saying?
Yeah, like a love language. Like me, I'm always someone that always gives 120%. But that extra 20% is like me voluntarily doing that because I think I need to do that.
Right. Right.
Because that's how I like to show my love.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other people that don't have the same love language, and they won't be showing it 120% of the time because they're someone that maybe they're PDA, right? Like the public
display of affection.
Exactly. Like they don't like showing that. Believe it or not, that was something that me and my my ex in the beginning of our relationship, she didn't like it.
Wow.
She didn't like PDA.
Really?
And
like how was it? Just even to like the minimum of
it was
holding
because
hands,
holding hands she didn't mind. It was the public affection within a group of people, like with strangers. And then this is where I tell you guys, you have to learn how to communicate, because at the beginning it would be a lot of fighting, a lot of bickering. I'm like, I used to have my insecurities and say to myself, fuck, there's someone out there that she likes, that she's looking at or something, and she doesn't want that person to show. That's how toxic I was in the beginning.
Damn.
And it took me a long time to finally like sit down and be like, all right, let me display my insecurities to my girlfriend and let her know where I'm coming from. And then she finally told me it's not that, it's that she's shy in just a group at all. Even if it's strangers, she feels like people are staring at her. So that's where the communication kicks in, okay? And I told her, listen, I get what you're saying, but let's kind of like break out of that barrier, because I think that's a good barrier to break out of. I think that if people that don't like PDA, listen, if you're fucking fingering your girlfriend or fucking like taking her tits out, like that's too much. But if a kiss and a fucking, a kiss, you don't fucking fully make out, but a kiss in the lips, holding hands, holding her tight, that's fine. Yeah. And I had to tell her, like, these are the things, like, you shouldn't worry about what strangers look at if we're just kissing and we're just holding hands, being cuddly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably something deeper there. There's honestly maybe some anxiousness, some just being,
and that's what she was telling me at the time. And, and I feel like that's a good thing to change about a person. Like that's not a bad thing, and vice versa. If that was me, I think that she should break that out of me. I used to be that shy person, which is why I know. But I stopped caring what people thought a long time ago, bro. Like
I do remember that in Converts, you were different. You were different.
I was very to myself there. Remember that one girl? Yeah. So shout out to that girl. But bro, I've changed a lot, man. I'm done with caring what the world thinks, because fuck the world. I'm never gonna see that person again. Yeah. And if I do, I have no explanation to them. I don't owe them anything.
It's true.
So I've learned to change my methods and the way I think. Like I said, every day I'm trying to grow, man. Like you haven't seen me in a while, bro. Like, and it's I forgot when you just said that to me. Yeah, you saw me my still like a little bit. I was still breaking loose, but it was still my timid days. You know. Yeah. I was and you saw some drunk versions of me, bro.
So vice versa.
Yo, Robin saw some fucked up moments from me, bro. Oh man, yeah. Now that I'm really thinking about it, you've seen some humorous times, bro. Some humorous times, but I like going back to the question. It was how can couples effectively communicate and align their individual goals? I mean, me and him, I think, agree. Communication, being open, being able to give and take. Yeah. Because at that point, you have to realize with that person, you're gonna once you have a partner, there's something you're going to lose. It sounds fucked up, but it's the truth to it. Maybe you saw yourself in your designated goal in a year. When that couple comes in, man, now it might be a year and a half. Yeah. Like doesn't mean you have to give up on that goal, but there's going to be this other person that comes in and her goals now have to be partnered with yours. You have to make them parallel. And the only thing that changes now, maybe like you shouldn't give up, but the time.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You should know what to let go, because you can't lose yourself. If you lose yourself, then everything falls apart. But there are things, definitely you need to learn to let go. So knowing that line, where that line is, and knowing what you need to do in order to keep that relationship going is tough.
100%. And then that also kicks in with the factor of like losing time with your friends. Listen, whenever you get in a relationship with a person, there's going to be moments where you're going to lose time with your friends, and that's okay. But I don't think you should shun your friends, because I think that a lot of people that do tend to regret it later on. And if that relationship doesn't work, they're trying to come back in. And it's something you have to learn how to put your foot down. Yep. And it goes both ways, girl or guy. I don't think if the girl has a lot of her gal friends that she wants to see, you should, as a boyfriend, not hinder her from seeing her friends. I do have an interesting question for you, though. Okay. I've asked it a couple of times, and I want to know your opinion on this. What are your viewpoints on your girl having guy friends? I know this has nothing to do with this, but I just
Yeah,
need to
just
hear
like
your
my
opinion.
own
now.
opinion
I
on
want to
this?
hear a guy's perspective on this. I'm
I'm
gonna ask this in the next episode.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. There's so many women that I've known that said, okay, yeah, I'm more comfortable with guys than girls because girls are bitches. Okay, and I've heard that constantly, right? But I think that the type of people you associate with, regardless of gender, says a lot about you. So if the guy is somebody who is of bad character, I wouldn't want her to hang out with him. But if he's a good guy, a genuine good guy, I have no issue.
What if? Oh, okay, that's good. What if she pushes that bad character guy and she still wants to hang out with him?
And she wants to, yeah, then go ahead and hang out with him. But I'm just not going to deal with it. I have a little patience, I think, and then
That's good.
that's probably something I probably need to work on with maybe if I want to continue in a real relationship. But I have no patience. If somebody wants to do something, go ahead, do it. But just don't do it with me.
Yeah. Man, it's hard. I have a point of view, but a lot of people don't like my point of view with this. I mean, I think that when you go in a relationship, right? Me, I have no problem if my girl asks me, hey, I don't want you to hang out with girls alone.
Yeah.
And I say, you know what? With all due respect, you're 100% right. There
Yeah.
should be no reason, even if that person was my friend, that I
What if
have
they're
to...
a mentor?
Huh?
What if they're a mentor?
Well,
what if it's in a...
That's different. I mean, like, but at that point, like, there should be a level of respect, right? Like, I don't think I'd ever cross my boundary with my mentor, but I don't know.
You think the time and place is a big factor of it?
Yeah, like fine, I have a mentor. Okay, I'm gonna make sure that I meet with this mentor in like never
Public
in a,
settings.
in a public setting. Never have to go to her house. Never have to invite her. And if
Right.
I am inviting her to my house, then my girlfriend's gonna be there
Right.
in the other room.
Yeah.
You know, like make it appropriate. Make it eliminate all. Like I know it's impossible, but eliminate every variable where it could lead to something stupid. Like, why do we have to go to a bar? Like, let's just go grab.
Yeah.
Let's go to a diner. Let's
Coffee shop.
coffee shop. You need to discuss something with me. Mentor me here. Like if that's ever the case. But like I always say, like, I would never want to make and this is where my values kick in. Like I never want to make my and I've learned this from trial and error. Like I've done, my first girlfriend, I was stupid, bro. I made a lot of mistakes in my life. Like, with my first ever real girlfriend, I ditched her on her birthday to hang out with my friend that was a girl because she was having a bad day. Damn. Obviously, I was young and stupid. I was 17 years old. I didn't know that was a bad thing, but it took those mistakes to progress as a person, as a partner for the future. That girl had to take an L for me to learn better with my future relationships. But these are the things that, you have to learn from. Mistakes happen, things that you have to jump on it. Like if you're going to make a mistake, make sure you never make that mistake again.
Okay. So essentially you're saying because you do it for her, you'd want to see it the same way. So you wouldn't want to see her with any guy in any fashion.
Man. I mean, I say if you're going to hang out with a guy, make sure it's a group setting.
Okay.
There should be no reason to want to, like, I feel like that's why a lot of these new couples coming up are like poly, whatever that shit is, or
polyamorous.
Or they're in open relationships, because I don't see that shit working in the long run. Have there been examples of it working with some couples? Absolutely, yeah. But I think true love, you're not gonna make that other person feel like that. And like, what's the point of having another friend that's a girl? Like, what's our existence for having friends that are girls, right? When you're single, it's because you're single. You're not attached to anybody,
right?
So you hang out with whoever you want to is fine.
Yep.
But once you're in a partner relationship, why would you want to hang out with that girl? Like, what's the purpose of it?
Yeah.
Oh, laugh and giggles. Okay, call her. Like, you know what I mean? Like
FaceTime.
Yeah. Like, fuck, does it have to be in person? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, because eventually that person's going to find a guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that guy's not going to want that girl talking to you.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, like, that's just a guy's point of view, and like, that's my point of view. So I just feel like it. And then, I've talked to a friend of mine that's a girl, and she works in the field of psychology. And I'm going to have her on the podcast too. And she says, well, I think that she said the same thing. If they're longtime friends and nothing's ever happened, I think you should be okay with it. And I said to her, I would be okay. I'm not saying that the friendships aren't there. I'm like, be friends with them. But I just I have an issue with, because I know how a guy a guy thinks.
Yeah.
And we're fucking scumbags. We're scumbags. Like any guy that tells you he never thought about sleeping with you, and there's a comedian that said it best. It's hilarious. I gotta find his clip. I'm gonna find his clip and show it to you later. But he said if a guy has a girl, if a guy is truly friends with a girl, girl, look in the mirror. You're probably fucking ugly. Like if he's never tried to fuck with you, like it's probably because you're ugly.
Oh my god.
But even my own friends that are girls are gonna look at me weird. I keep my boundary. Like if it's my boy's girl, there's no matter what, bro. I don't make that situation. I've learned from that lesson. I keep my distance no matter what. If they tell me, hey, you want to go hang out? Like my boyfriend, which is my friend, is doing something. You just want to grab a drink? I just say, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, nah.
I don't even fucking cross that fucking barrier, bro.
No.
Even if she considers me a great friend, I'm like, nah, no, thank you.
No.
Or invite all these people and be like, hey, yeah, I'm down to go, but I'm bringing all these people.
For real.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't cross that boundary. I don't even want to get to it because the more variables you lead yourself with, I feel like the more opportunities you're just risking for a downfall.
Of course.
Like an alcoholic, when he's sober, does he have a beer? No, he doesn't have a beer anymore because he knows that's going to lead to something stupid. Same thing goes with, just knowing your boundaries and knowing what you should.
I mean, there's self-control that plays into that as well. Like you should know as a person your own, like, as far as like your morality, what you should and should not do.
Correct.
But at the same time, there's an extent to that, right? You can only control yourself so much. Then comes the outer things like where you are, with this person that can influence it, the mindset that they're in, whether you're under the influence or whatever else. Like you could be smoking or whatever the case is. There are all these other things. So you can be as good as you can be, but you can't control all these other things. And some people will be like, okay, then why are you gonna be always afraid? That's no way to live. You got to be able to be more open. But I say you also have to be more considerate. Yes. Think about that other person that you're with because it's a relationship, It's not just one person. It's two people.
Yeah, you're thinking of one. You're thinking as you're trying to think like, oh, it's not a problem for me. I can have self-control.
Yeah.
Think about your couple. Like and also, like I said, I think people are saying, oh, well, Puka, that might be insecure. That might be trust issues. And correct. It could be, right? You can say whatever your assumptions are. But I say to myself, if I'm okay with her going in a group setting where I know there's going to be alcohol and I know the guy's going to be there and I know the girls are going to be there, that's trust. That's complete trust. I just don't like minimizing the door expanding the door to a possibility. Yeah. So like if she says, I don't care, I'm going solo dolo with that guy. And I say, okay, where? Oh, we're going to grab drinks. I'm like, to me, that's just saying like, okay, what's the situation with that guy? Oh, he's single. Like, why is this guy even inviting you into that setting? Like that, to me, that's a fucking red light, bro. Like, and I've encountered some situations where I am right, where I am wrong, and I just don't like it. And I always say for my future relationships and moving on, bro, I'm going to have that rule because that's what makes me feel comfortable. And if they don't respect it, then I know I'm not supposed to be with that person because at the end of the day, like if you don't see why I think that's a red light, like, and it'd be vengeful and just stupid of me to be like, be okay with it and then do the same thing to you because you're just opening that door for one day of a possibility to just be like, I cheated. Because cheating, like I said in the previous episodes, cheating can happen whenever, man. Cheating is a possibility every day. And the days you don't cheat, that's a day checked on as a good day. It's a W for your relationship. But, bro, cheating can happen any day.
Yep.
The people that have told you they've cheated, they're not even scumbags, some of them. It just, they opened doors thinking they were never going to be put in a position. And then they finally open up a position opportunity. And they're dealing with a person that has no morals. They don't give a fuck about your relationship.
They have nothing to lose or gain.
Yeah, they just look at the physical part. Like, oh, that guy's hot. I'm going to fucking flirt with him. And then this girl might be fucking sexy as fuck.
Yeah.
But what opened that door for you? You just kept opening, and you finally looked for something. You're looking for trouble. When you look for trouble, what are you going to get? You're going to get trouble.
Obviously. And then you can't even expect the person who's like moving in on this to get a relationship out of it because if you base a relationship out of cheating, how do you think the future is going to be with that person? They can possibly do it again on you. Like, how is that going to work?
It's funny that you said that. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to, let's see. Uh, how can couples navigate the challenges of changing career goals, financial goals, or personal growth aspirations during their marriage?
That's good. I've seen it a lot in the military, um, where spouses would put whatever they had on hold in order to accommodate guys who need to move, because we get orders to go to certain places where we don't have no choice.
Yeah.
So they'll just have to pick up and go, and people will have to deal with it. Spouses will have to deal with it. So a lot of them, they'll just be housewives or house husbands or whatever. But a lot of them also have their own careers, and they have their own, like, their teachers, scientists, whatever. Like, they have things where they want to do. So you'd have to be able to say, okay, I'm gonna put this on pause, or now I have to go look for another place, another job at this area ahead of time, because he has these orders and we got to leave within a certain couple months. And you can have some sort of, I guess, resignation against it, and you kind of like feel that it's this person's fault that I can't live the way that I want to live now, and that kind of drifts these people. And you see it a lot in the military, because of that they'll divorce, and it ends up being ugly and stuff. But the true solid relationships are the ones that are able to say, okay, I'm going to make this work. They're going to actually physically, mentally, whatever, put their all into figuring out how to best work this puzzle that'll work out the best for everybody.
Have you seen that's a reason why a lot of maybe people leave the military too, when it gets to that point where it's getting a little too much?
Yeah. Because there was this one guy who, his wife was working on a doctorate, and she was like in school most of the time. They had a kid. He was maybe, I think, 4 years old. Yeah, 4 years old. So they had a kid, and then he was in the military, and he was in a position of power where he needed to like oversee people constantly. So because of the situation that they were in, they were always not being able to link up with each other, have their own time as a family.
Yeah.
And then they were all so engrossed in their own careers that they lost sight of what they had as a relationship.
Yeah.
That they were to the point of like breaking up and making shit really ugly. I was able to sit down with him and kind of like talk him through it. I'm like, hey man, if this is because of like how you guys are, if you guys are two different people now, you don't want to do it anymore, I can see that. But if what's driving you apart is like this career path that you're choosing, think of your kid. Think of like the life that they might be, how it's affecting them.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys can find a plan, make it happen where everybody wins, not where just you're going to win and then she's going to win, but then at the cost of what? That child.
Yeah.
So
what did he end up doing?
He ended up getting out. Yeah, he ended up getting out, and then she got her doctorate, and then he just ended up getting a job in the hospital where she worked at.
Look at that.
Yeah. So
look at that.
It
Yeah,
worked
sometimes that's sacrifice, right? When a kid plays a factor, it's a lot. Games change, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about with no kid, like certain sacrifices, but I think when a kid comes in,
it changes things.
it changes everything. I think that's why I have such admiration for my father too, is because like he's someone that gave, I think, in a weird way, like he gave up so much of his dreams, his ambitions and stuff for the betterment of his children. And I can't even picture that right now because I'm not a father. I mean, I love my nephews and everything too, but if my nephews were to tell me like, yo, you have to quit all this stuff just to, I don't know, like get us through grade school, like those are not my fucking kids. You know what I mean? Like I would make sure that someone else plays a factor in that, and I would push that person to do that. But like, I won't know that feeling until I'm a father. So like, I can't, like, it's crazy the amount of things that our parents have done for us. And I'm glad that guy was able to get out and do right for his kid.
Yeah, the sacrifice is real, and I like I said, it just takes that time for somebody to be able to say, okay, you need this self-reflection to in order to really look at all the different things that's on the table, and really go through it and say, okay, make a pros and cons, whatever you need to do. Figure out a way to kind of like sift through everything. And
people sometimes make rash decisions based off their emotion. They're not sitting down, putting, outlining everything that they're looking to do.
Yeah.
And no one should make rash decisions based off only emotions, because emotions change, man.
Yeah, especially if it's such a pivotal decision like that. Cause
exactly.
It impacts so many different things, and firstly, most importantly, a child's life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, bro, that's 100% facts.
mm.
All right, let's see. Oh, this is a good one. This is a really good question.
Mm.
What advice do you have for couples who may have different ideas about their future goals and
Mm-hmm.
how to reconcile those differences on a harmonious marriage? Which you gave a great example
Yeah,
just
that
now.
was
That's why
exactly.
I want to pick off on that.
Yeah.
But let's say a kid didn't play in that factor.
Okay.
How would the advice change for that kid, for
Mm.
that guy right there?
Mm.
What would you say to that guy if the kid was not a factor in there?
Yeah. It would still at the core, it's still the same advice. Kind of be like, are you doing this because you guys are just at these two different roads in life now? Like you can no longer live how this person wants to live, or is it because of other factors? Is it because of work? Too much work is getting on you, and it's impacting your mood. And when you're all this certain way after work, you act this way because your mood is off. You take it off on the wrong person, and then you guys don't communicate and don't talk about it. So you're just throwing all this shit on this person, and the other person's just not like reading it the right way, and you clash heads, and nobody talks about it. That's a huge thing, and then so communication.
Yeah, and
Communication.
you had a good. You made me think about something that too. A lot of these new generations, a lot of these new couples, man, make sure that when there's a fight happening or it's being sparked through text,
Mm-hmm.
just pick up the phone and call that person.
Yeah.
Because text, the way you do things, can
Mm-hmm.
be perceived differently.
Yep.
You don't want to start a fight over a fake reaction, a fake. And if it is a real reaction and you're confirming it via voice, at least words are being spoken. It's being transparent right there and then. A lot of people just like to do a lot of things through text, and I think that's horrible because I'm not a great texter, man. And
Same.
I could
Sarcasm is hard to put through text.
no,
It is.
sarcasm is for me is very easy, but they don't
Through
take it.
text.
Yeah, but they don't take it. They don't take it right. So you're right. Maybe the way you're perceiving it to them
Right.
is they're never gonna perceive it the way
It's
you're
just
saying
hard.
it.
Yeah, it's just hard
Yeah,
to
you're
see
right. You're right.
sarcasm
You're
in
right.
text.
You're
But
right.
that's what. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Though this newer generation doesn't really want to talk on the phone. They're all just texting and whatever.
Yeah,
Like
that's very true.
nobody wants to talk.
It's ugly, man. You got to learn how to change that. Talking in person is definitely a must. Like you saw the question, like how do you do breakups? Would you do it in person, a text, or a phone call?
Mm-hmm.
I think a phone call minimum.
At the minimum.
At the minimum, right? Like you owe that person. I think, but as show of respect and love, it should be done in person, even though it's hard. A lot of people push away from those weird encounters, but those are things that make you grow emotionally, man. Like,
Yes. Yes.
makes you understand what kind of like. That's why I say to those people that just fuck around and hurt people, like you're the type of person that won't go and break up with that person in person because you don't like that uncomfortable feeling. But go feel it, feel the rawness that you're doing to that person, the hurt, like the pain that you're making that person go through. Like it changes the way you start advancing as a human being, know?
Right.
So communication is definitely key. And I would advice here, I would say is always be honest, communicate from the very beginning. A lot of people don't like, I've learned as I've grown up that a lot of couples in the beginning, you give what the other couple wants to see.
Yeah.
And I think we should start changing that. Just be more you, because then you're avoiding all the bullshit.
Yep.
And you're not showing this person a fake persona.
Yeah, that and don't be afraid of putting in work, because if you guys are hurting, that relationship is hurting, and you do want it to go, but you're kind of like, oh, but I don't want to deal with this anymore. Maybe you aren't worthy of that relationship. But if you feel like it's something worthwhile, then actually fight for it. Maybe go see couples counseling. Maybe figure out a way to improve that communication between you guys and do something so it improves the relationship between both of you. But
I agree.
Fight for it.
I agree with you 100%. There should be no time frame of when you should see couples counseling, I think, especially if it's something that's, a relationship that's done at least a year.
Yeah.
Because everyone times everything differently. I've seen people get engaged in 6 months. I've seen people get, divorced after 2 years. There is no right formula.
Yeah.
There's just you and your partner, and only you and your partner know what's happening behind those closed doors. So only you two know your relationship very well. So definitely take everyone else's advice and ideas and methods with a grain of salt, because you know what works best for your relationship.
Sure.
And it's good to get an outside point of view, but like I said, don't just let that point of view hinder your relationship. Like don't let it just oh, this person says because you're acting like this, you're toxic. Like, no, like,
Yeah.
do you actually, like, that person's giving you their point of view, but like, look at it from where it's coming from. Are you triggering something from that partner? Like,
Yeah,
are
it's
you
like if
doing
you're going to
something?
go for like to see a doctor for a really bad disease that nobody really knows about, you're not going to take the first doctor's opinion just at its face value. You're going to go see other doctors. You need to make sure that it's a wide scope of what you're looked at, and make sure that you looked at all the best options in order to piece together the best possible solution.
I agree. I agree 100%. And look at that, bro. We're not going to end it, but I mean, it's if you have any more questions, you're going to help me proceed the podcast because the phone's about to die.
Oh shit!
But an hour and 45. Did it feel like that?
No,
I told you, I told you, bro. It goes quick. It goes quick. It goes easy, man. We talk like I don't even think we covered everything, but we definitely mentioned some good questions. We had some good conversations. And did you have any questions that you wanted to bring up here?
I just want to say that I find it very proud. I feel very proud that I see your goal is growing. You've done a lot from what you were doing before, and you just keep on getting better and better what you're doing. So I just want to, as words of encouragement, just keep on doing what you do, man, because you'll do eventually what you want, and you have that passion. So
I appreciate it, man. It comes a lot from you too, because like I said, you've been gone. So there's been like a big, like your when you left, what year did you leave?
2017.
I had just graduated from it. I'm trying to think when. Okay, yeah, you were there. You left the year that I woke up.
Oh wow,
bro! I'm telling you, it was just picking it back off what I said before, man. It was a tough road to get out of, man. Like I can't believe it, but you've seen like a lot of the stupid shit I would do, and I mean, I'm not to shit on myself. I wasn't a bad person, but I was going down a bad path that I didn't even see coming,
right.
And I remember one of the last conversations. I'm not saying this to hype you up, but I remember the last conversations that I had with you before you leaving, and I think I had asked you, I'm like, what made you want to fucking leave? I'm like, I thought you were crazy. I'm like, why would you join the army at 25? Like, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
And you were just telling me the same thing you said. Like, your answers never changed. You were trying to pursue something better.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, I think you and other people that were around me at the time were making me realize, like, okay, it's time for a change. It was time for a wake up call. And I was like, maybe Rob has the answer. Maybe I have to separate myself a little bit and start working on myself. And like you didn't even have the answer. You were just telling me this is a route I'm going, and I'm gonna see where it takes me.
Just have to stick with it, and make the best of what choices you have.
Yeah, bro. And it did what it did, man. It sparked a change in me. The first thing that made me realize like I was unhappy, I went to Thailand. I mentioned that before, but that's what made me realize I was unhappy. I went. And I had the best time. I had a great time. I felt no more stress. I made me really sink in and look at these beautiful sights and have what's that word called? It opened my mind to like, why am I still at TD Bank? Like, why am I doing this? Like, and I noticed
introspection.
Yeah.
Introspection. That's big. It's huge, man. It's huge when you have that time and you're able to like look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I need to buckle down, figure out what the fuck I want to do with my life. It doesn't have to be today. It doesn't have to be tomorrow, but it has to happen.
Yeah.
And make out the best possible outline that you can in order to achieve whatever goal you need to in order to see the place that you want to be at. And,
correct.
Make it a reality.
No, you're 100% correct, bro. Because one thing I did from there is exactly what you said. I noticed to myself, why can't I quit TD? And I noticed I was someone that was. Everyone has this issue. Everyone goes through this. Being comfortable is a dangerous. Yeah, it's very dangerous in anybody that's going through that. I think you should chase the fear. Like do what makes you uncomfortable, and that's what I did. I quit Converts.
Yeah.
And then after that, I quit TD.
Yeah.
Then I went into a sales job that I hated. I quit the sales job. I was unemployed for 2 months. I always tell this story.
Yeah.
I joined this company where now I'm in the supervisor mode, and I'm going for hopefully the next step. But
Yeah.
this is where I met so many beautiful people. This is where I was able to grow as a human being. I grew up in this next stage in my life where I was I've grown so much mentally. I've grown to understand and slow everything down and appreciate everything that's going on, and get more values, and start this podcast all over again where I love different point of views, man. It makes, you need that. Like you said, you need to be open-minded. Like, it's so beautiful when you hear everyone's perspective, even if they're different. Like, even if you were to say everything that I disagreed on, I would still take your opinion, man. I would still take your time and listen to it, and
it makes you curious. It makes you want to know, like, why does this person think this way? Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you want to learn more. It makes you, like, why does this person think this way? Why would you want to be not thinking like me? It doesn't make me want to hate you. It just makes me curious.
Exactly. But man, good for you too, man. I'm happy where you are. I hopefully that apprenticeship.
It was internship. Yeah.
Hopefully it works out in your favor. Dude, and we'll be doing this more often, especially if you live in New York.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah. But other than that, do you have anything else that you want to say? Any words of encouragement, anything, advice that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, like you said, never be complacent. Always if you have a goal, attack it. Keep on going at it. Doesn't matter what anybody says. You could take that advice from your mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, whatever, friend. But if that's that goal that you have your heart set on, make sure that passion never dies out. Because if it's something you truly want and you have that passion, you're gonna have it. It's gonna happen.
And I think you're the perfect example of that, man. Especially if you're afraid. This guy at 25 dropped everything, went to the Army, went to the Air Force, wasn't promised anything, and is still going at it. I think that's, bro, you've done something. I don't know if I told you this. When I was 18, I wanted to join the Army. I didn't want to go to school. I hated school. Parents made me go to school because that was the Spanish mentality. It was like, hey, David, we came to this country, worked our asses off. The least you can do is try school.
Yeah.
And fucking I hated that. That's one thing I'm going to change too. I appreciated that I went this route. I didn't like how they used the tool on me.
Right.
That's one thing I've talked to my parents. You guys, for my future nieces and everything, like, just because they don't choose school
doesn't mean
it's over. You have to understand where they're coming from. And also, I've told my nieces, there's one niece that didn't choose school. She decided the EMT life. Okay. And I understand that. I'm like, okay, as long as you have a plan, do it.
Right.
But if you're just choosing school and not doing dick, like, I don't support that. You have to have a goal in mind.
Right.
Because
it's nice to have people with degrees in order to, like, take advantage of, like, what we have now, and in order to improve the system that we live in. But you also need the people, the boots on the ground, the people who keep the electricity running through your household, the plumbing, the infrastructure and the roads, all that stuff. It's run by people. It's not run by machines as of yet.
Correct.
And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that.
Yeah. Let me ask you something too, Ashley, before we end the podcast. This is the question that popped in my head when you were talking about the Army and everything. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw this. Puberty, I think that's a page I follow. They put it up. They're saying this is the first year they're seeing a decrease in the people listing up to join the Army. Is that a scary thing, you think?
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of worrying, but I can see where it's coming from because a lot of people, the social media is rampant in bringing in opinions from all over the world nowadays. Back then, in the 60s, Vietnam, it was only what we were given from the government, and then World War II, all that other shit is all, even in Korea War, like all that. The social media aspect of it wasn't the same as it is right now.
Correct.
So you have at your fingertips the visibility to see what's going on to a certain extent in Russia, in China, the Philippines, Japan, wherever it is. You have that ability.
You see it every day.
Exactly. You're now these people are taking in these opinions, and they're also biased. They could be biased as well. So you could be far right or far left, whatever may have you. But they're formulating their own opinions now, and they're saying, okay, maybe doing the military is not the way because of all this conflict. And media in general doesn't usually give out the good stuff. They only give out
the bad stuff. Yeah.
So if you hear only about bad things, what do you not want to do? You don't want to be in conflict. You don't want to put your life on the line for that. But
yeah,
I think there's a certain pride in knowing that you're doing what you're doing for your country, because like you're protecting your family in one sense, and you're also serving a purpose. And I feel like that's why
I agree.
at the end of the day I like doing what I did.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We need more people like Rob. We need more Army cats because I think that like he said, man, just like any job, I promise you, no matter what job you do in your life, there'll never be all good and no bad. There'll always be bad with good.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yin
you're
and yang.
right. Yeah, a yin and a yang. And I think that you're right. I think the media does do a bad exposure on our military. And, you know, maybe the military should think of this otherwise. Maybe while the social media is here, let's look at the pluses. Let's look at, like, advertise the good stuff.
Yeah, and they try. So a lot of people who join, they don't join because they want to serve. They join because they might have student debt that might be forgiven or helped with that.
They push the financial.
Yeah, there's a lot of different facets that the military kind of gives as like a little. They hang a little thing like, okay, come here. We're gonna help you out with this. We'll help you out with that.
Just give me your time.
Yeah, just give me. Yeah, basically. But you become property of the government at that point.
Yeah.
So you lose identity, and a lot of people don't want that as well. That's a big thing.
Do they like? I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it. Do they hinder anything like that, like social media posts and things like that?
To a certain extent, yeah. You can't say some things, but it's not to the point where you can't say nothing. Like you could still express yourself how you want, but you can't just like show the government in a bad light.
Yeah, like you can't be anti-US.
Yeah,
kinda.
anti-establishment.
Like you can say something that you dislike, but you can't be like
Right.
saying like
Yeah.
fuck the US. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Well, with that said, we got a 2-hour fucking podcast. It's going to be fun editing. It was a great time to have you here, bro. Like I said, we'll definitely have you back with the 2-camera point of view thing. But I think the one thing with zoomed in, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it. You saw my little ghetto setup, but like,
It
like
works.
there's a lot
It
of things
works.
behind the scenes
works.
that people don't see, which is
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
So, Rob could definitely, you know, you got to see the raw thing. Like we had to move a
Exactly.
lot of things around, so it was a good time. But thank you again for coming, man.
Same here.
Always a great time. All
Appreciate
right.
you, bro.